Is me. Oh, I haven't done this in a very long time. I'm hoping this is all set up correctly. I haven't done this in a while, and I haven't actually streamed from this room before. Well, I have, but not in a very long time. We'll see how it works out. I'm on Wi-Fi, so it's going to be a bit tricky, but might be okay. But yeah, I'm just going to stream Virtual Pro Wrestling, which is an excellent game for the N64. There's some, I think I've modded it quite a bit, so it's got some superstars in it and some wrestlers in it that aren't typically in the game. It's kind of a mashup of, like, I think there's No Mercy wrestlers in there. There's some like top tier Japanese wrestlers. There's like old Japanese wrestlers, new Japanese wrestlers. It's a real mixed bag, but I just thought I got a notification that YouTube were going to demonetize my channel for just inactivity, so I had to do something. I thought, oh, I've got a bit of time, and let's just stream this. And, you know, maybe someone donates like $100, and I can just buy a video game that costs that much for some reason. It's wild. But I'm going to jump to the other screen, because yeah, I didn't think it'd be working. Oh, it is working. Okay, we're all good. I was going to stay on that one longer, but I don't need to because I've got this now. So I was hoping this picture-in-picture would work, and it does actually look pretty good. Let's set one up. What I'm basically just going to do is I'm going to set up. Where do I want to go? I think I want to go Dome Road, Aki Hall. Oh, let's go Aki Hall. Shout out. I'm going to watch it because I'm lazy. Let's do a non-title match. Who do I want to put in there? Riki Choshu, Sasaki, Nagata. Yeah, Yuji Nagata, the legend. Who else? I'll show you who we've got. And then we've got Yushin, we've got Great Sasuke, Taka. We've got Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, Mike Awesome, Misato Tanaka, I think his name is, or Misato Tanaka. Yeah. Sabu, Hayabusa, Cactus Jack. I love Hayabusa in this game. Cactus Jack, Terry Funk, Anita. And then here we go. These are like the No Mercy characters. So we got Stone Cold, we got The Rock, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Brett, Hogan and Randy. And then who else have we got? Ric Flair, Sting. Yeah, see, there's like WCW characters in here too. Ric Flair, Sting, Goldberg, DDP, Booker T, Kurt Hennig, Rick Rude, and then we've got some more No Mercy characters. I'm not going to go through every single one, but some more No Mercy. These are like the weird modern ones that they've added in the mod. Brock Lesnar looks hilarious in this game. That's right, he just looks weird. AJ, Samoa Joe, Daniel Bryan, Kurt Angle. I don't really understand. That's Kurt Angle's default, and it looks really strange. I guess it's a more modern one where he wears gloves. Maybe that was when he came back for a brief period. And then we've got some more old wrestlers. I think those are those are all WCW ones. Tiger Mask. Tiger Mask would be great. I think I'm going to put Muta in the first. Options. Yeah, that's fine. There we go. I'm going to let these guys just wrestle. I'm just going to sit here and enjoy it. And just let YouTube tick over. My channel is still active. And I am still doing things on it. I should be streaming a bit more. I quite enjoy doing this. It's just a fun hobby. To kind of jump. Why is my hair being weird? It's just a lot sticking out. There we go. It's a really it's a really fun hobby for me. I enjoy setting it up, and I enjoy like putting all the equipment together, setting up the capture. Like, it's great. And I'm honestly, I don't think I'm going to do this for very long. In all honesty, it's like I've put in the description about how it's like I want to buy Jedi Survivor and all this stuff, but it's not really about that. I just needed to do something on the channel for a bit, and I thought, I'll just do this. And I've had this idea for a little while where I wanted to like just kind of stream a game and just kind of hang out, just kind of watch it, purely just another excuse to set up all the equipment, which I quite enjoy. I don't know how the game audio is coming out. I'm going to have to check now. I'm going to go on. This is the only way I know how to do it because I'm an amateur. I just click on my own stream. Purely just another excuse to set up all the equipment, which I quite enjoy. I literally have no idea. I don't know how the game audio is coming out. You're just going to hear me again over and over. This is the only way I know how to do it because... And now I'm up to the bit where I'm doing this. Yeah, that's super irritating. That's super irritating. You can just hear me talking about me, watching me. I'm going to turn this up a little bit, though. Game audio is mighty low. So I'm just going to... what do I turn it up to? Maybe 15? Minus. Oh, I've paused the game. There we go. Yeah, that might be a bit better. I don't know if that's going to be like crazy, but it should be fine. I think with me talking and that being like somewhat louder, it should be okay. Yeah, I just love this game. I installed this with a few mods because it's just like I was never very good at these games, but I really enjoyed playing them. And I had this idea just to stream really lazy and just do a really lazy stream where I just sit and I watch I watch the computer play a few wrestle a few matches and just kind of sit here and hang out. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm also not going to sit here and ramble. I might leave the room at certain points. Like I'm not fussed about making this like super professional. I just wanted to do this. I'm trying to figure out. I'm gonna use this time to figure out like what games I actually do want to stream properly. I think there's a plethora of games that I really want to play. I feel like I do try and use the streams to play games that I wouldn't usually play in my spare time. And I think partly me, like I was really tempted to, when I eventually get Jedi Survivor, to stream it for the first time, like for my first time playing it. But that I feel like is a game that I would rather just play by myself and not stream, because I feel like streaming does kind of ruin my enjoyment of a certain game. Especially if it's something that I'm really into and it's like a really good story. So something like Jedi Survivor. I really enjoyed Fallen Order, and Fallen Order was like, at the time of it coming out, was one of my favorite games. I think it still is one of my favorite games. Recently played through it again on the PS5, and they remastered it. I think at a higher frame rate, which was, it's not really something I feel like I would usually notice. I'm too much of a casual gamer to really sort of like pick up on like really like kind of subtle differences in games, and like I feel like a frame rate for me is something that I personally don't really pay much attention to. But that was crazy. Like seeing that upgrade in person and playing the game again with a higher frame rate, stunning. Like it really, like it was. I think it was the first game I noticed a real difference in, and it actually improved the game in a big way for me. So that was really fun to play through again, and I feel like I don't want to stream Jedi Survivor when I first play it. I may do in the future. Maybe I'll just like chuck it on, and maybe when I'm a bit into it, I maybe feel a bit more comfortable streaming it. But I would much prefer just to play that game and enjoy that game by myself. Just so I'm not distracted. I'm not trying to talk. I know I'll miss things. Like there's just certain things that I do when I'm playing a game on stream, where I just feel like I'll miss things in the story. I'll miss things in the game. And I don't want to do that with Jedi Survivor because it's something that, it's a game I've been waiting for a really long time, and I'm excited to get it. I'm gonna hold off a little bit though. I was seeing reports about how it was. There were some issues. Maybe it was just on the PC version, or maybe it was just on certain versions of the game. But I saw people saying that there was like a game-breaking bug where you couldn't progress any further. There were just like performance issues, small things, and things I know they'll fix because I think they did that initially with Fallen Order when it came out. I think it had a plethora of issues when it first came out, and those issues were addressed like fairly quickly. And yeah, I feel like it was. It's a game that I'm gonna give it like a bit of breathing room to help those issues kind of subside once they're sort of fixed and sorted. I think that's probably when I'll jump in. The only thing I needed really initially from like thinking about buying it was seeing the reviews, and all the reviews were just stellar. Like that game was just getting like, oh yeah, this is like they've perfected combat in this. They've perfected lightsaber combat in particular. They've added plenty of new things to the game to make it feel like a new game. That's such an issue with certain publishers and certain developers and things, that they'll make and release games that are sequels, and like sports games obviously are a big part of this, and FIFA being the main offender, in that they release a game every year. There are very minor, mostly cosmetic changes, like for the football game, for the FIFA series, which will now be EAFC. For that series, it just feels like it's all purely cosmetic. It's just like kit changes. Maybe leagues have changed their appearance. Maybe they've like updated graphics, things like that. Like as in like the physical graphics for leagues, not the actual graphics of the game. And then they'll tout maybe like improvements to the game engine. But I mean, it's difficult because I feel like a lot of people do jump on the bandwagon of hating on it, and really it's like, well, it does well, and EA aren't going to change. But it's a pretty fantastic game. If you just look at it bare bones, the game engine for that, like they've emulated football almost perfectly. But yeah, I'm sorry, back to what I was with Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor. I may stream it in the future, but I think I want to initially start the game by myself, so I can get my own enjoyment out of it first, and like fully experience the game properly. And then maybe I will. But I think back to my original point about how I want these streams to kind of be a vehicle for me to play games that maybe I didn't play when I was younger, like big things. Like I did a Skyrim stream. I think I did two of them. I did two Skyrim streams, and they were quite enjoyable. I always struggle to kind of get into a game like that, and it's still kind of weighing on me that I don't think I'll play it much. I may stream it again. I don't know. I still have it installed, so I'm ready to go. But it was just elements of it for me that it's just a lot to take in initially, and then it's like I've had so many people say to me that you just have to give it time, and you get like hooked on it, and then it's like that's why it's the game, like the best game of all time. Loads of people will tout anyway, and that's one of the reasons I was playing it. I don't want to feel like I'm missing out on a game just because I'm a bit like intimidated by it, maybe, or because there were other ones I was thinking of. I think there was Uncharted I might do, because I feel like I've played the first game. I think maybe I completed the first game. It was an old roommate of mine that I lived with. he had a PS4, and I think he had all like 1 to 4. Maybe the 4th was coming out, and he bought all the first 3, and like played the first one and really enjoyed it, and then I think subsequently then watched him play 2 and 3, and then eventually 4. And like really enjoyed them. They're very cinematic games. They're one of those games that's quite enjoyable to just kind of watch someone play if you're not really like feeling playing it, or doesn't feel like a game you really want to play. Yeah, I like thoroughly enjoyed watching that, and I thought maybe I should actually make a stream where I just play Uncharted and play through the games, because it is a game that I enjoyed watching, but I probably should actually just play and get like the full experience. And yeah, that was the same reason I did the Last of Us stream, is that I wanted to play. I was watching the TV. I watched the TV series, and at the time was watching it, and I thought I've not played. It's quite nice to watch the TV show, not playing the game, having not played the game, because you don't know the story. I was very familiar with the story, of course, because that game is talked about endlessly. But I do feel like it was something I did want to play, and I've timed it quite well, because I started playing that game on that stream, and it was while the show's on. The show's finished now, and I finished it. I've watched everything. Like I've watched every episode of that show now, so I know the story of the game. So I feel like that's like the perfect reason to stream it, because it means that I don't have to pay attention to the story too much. I know what's going to happen. There were things in the TV show that obviously don't happen in the game, but if you're playing through the game, that's fine. It covers everything. And yeah, I think that's something that I'll probably stream again. I think the first one was really fun, and I did get it's a very good game to, as story games go, it's like a really decent one to stream. So I think I'll do that one in the future, because I do need to play more of it. I need to finish it too. But I mean, other than that, I'm trying to think of others. Like I wouldn't do like a horror game. I feel like I just don't get any enjoyment out of that. Oh, Nagata one, sick. Yeah, I feel like I wouldn't get much enjoyment out of horror games. I don't find them like fun. They're probably entertaining to watch someone play, especially if they're like freaking out and like it goes mental, and they just like you're watching someone just lose their mind because it's a horrifying game. But I just won't get much enjoyment out of that. And I think for me, I'm gonna do, what should I put on? Should I do Battle Royale? This will probably end up being really fast, but let's see. Non-title match. Team battle? Random. I'm going to do 8 wrestlers. Right. Who do we put in it? I think there's... oh yeah, there's Akiman and Spider-Man. I forgot about that. There are a few of these. There's like a bunch of these like sort of hidden bits. I'll put Stan in. Stan's a great one. Giant Baba, because it's just funny. Ultimate Dragon is sick. Dan Severn, Don Fry. I think these are like MMA guys, but there's also Ken Shamrock chucked in there as well. Dan Severn can get in there. Outside Anywhere. Actually, no, Outside Loss. I think that's the point, isn't it? It's like it's over the top rope or something. Oh, no, actually, no. I'll do Anywhere. I'm going to turn Rope Break. I'll leave that on. Blood's on. Quick Match off. TKO. No, I don't want TKO. And then No Limit. Go. There we go. Yeah, I don't think I'll play a horror game. I think I might play like a fucking impossible game, like things like Demon Souls. And one of my favorite YouTubers, Nakey Jakey, endlessly talks about how good Demon Souls is, and he loves games like that, and like Souls-like games, and like there's something about like Elden Ring and things like that. I haven't got Elden Ring, so I don't think I'll be streaming that, but I have Demon Souls, I think, so I think that's back from like, it was potentially something I bought when I lived with said roommate who had the PS4. I think maybe I bought it, or I can't remember. But that's something I might try, because it's like a really hard game. My concentration will be a bit taken by it, because obviously it's fucking hard. But But I think that'd be quite enjoyable to play, just purely because it'll be difficult, and I think it'll push me to try something a bit different. And again, it's like the same thing with Skyrim. It'll push me to play a game that I potentially find intimidating, and I don't want to play because I find it intimidating. So I think it'll help get me over that that initial like blockade in front of me. Is this giant Baba? I think it is. He's huge. Look at that face. He's menacing. Absolutely menacing. Is he actually going to go to the ring, or is he just going to stay there? Is he given up? Is he scared? Was it because I mentioned Demon Souls? You don't have to play it, Baba. Oh, okay. You're okay. You're good. There's only... Oh, I was about to say there's only 3 of them. Why is nothing happening? But yeah, Stan's not come out yet. He was waiting for Baba to hurry up. You see, Stan doesn't hang about. He's fucking in. None of this waiting around. None of this like, oh, like I wonder who's coming down. No. He's not waiting around. Ultimate Dragon's looking fucking confident. I don't know who's going to take this. Dan's pretty sick in this game. I think Ultima's pretty elite. Baba, I don't give a chance. I think maybe just because he's big, he might have an advantage here. But I don't see it happening. I feel like I shouldn't have put him in this match now. I should have probably picked someone else. And then Stan, Mr. Lariat. I think he'll smash it. I think Stan actually could probably win this one. But yeah, back to what I'd like to stream. I feel like in the future for this channel, I do just want to keep streaming games that I don't usually play, or games I wouldn't play in my spare time. But then again, like I said, like with Jedi Survivor, it's a game that I would purely want to start playing, or maybe complete once on my own off stream, and then maybe just set it up so I can stream it. Because I think it's one thing to stream a game like this, which is just like it's good. This game is great for background because I can just have it play in the background. You can watch, and it's like it's entertaining. It's not the most. It's obviously a very dated game. It's very old, but the gameplay is fantastic, and it's entertaining to watch. But I think something like Jedi Survivor is such a gorgeous game, and that was one of the things I saw a lot of people touting in the reviews, is that the game is like undeniably beautiful, and like they've worked really hard on making that game not just feel like a sequel to Fallen Order, but to feel like ultimately in every way better than Fallen Order, and I think that's great. There was one thing I saw about it which was quite, I don't know, it was something that I was like kind of hoping they would do, and then they actually did, is that they do just hand you a ready to go Jedi Knight. Like everything that you learn in Fallen Order is there. You don't have to start again. There's not like they don't set it up so that it's like, oh, Cal's lost all of his powers and you have to get him back. I saw that it was just a complete carryover. So everything you learn in Fallen Order, everything that Cal learns in Fallen Order, you carry over, and you have that in the new game. So there's no starting fresh, but you get to learn new skills on top of the ones that you had already. And I think that's fantastic. I love when games do that. There isn't this kind of backtracking to get you to play again, where you just feel like you're playing the same game twice. This actually does feel like a continuation, like they've added like enough. I think that's great. Maybe, yeah, no. I'll start that game off stream, and then maybe I'll go to it like later on down the line. But there were other things I was contemplating. Like Mafia is great. Like I've been playing that quite a lot. I really enjoy the that's one of the best. I think that's one of the best representations of what a remaster should be. Everything's different. It feels like a brand new game. It's replaying the old story of the original game. And obviously there's Mafia and Mafia 2. I'm only playing Mafia at the moment because I think it came out on PS Plus. And I nabbed it. Because I think I played Mafia 2 on the PS2, and I remember that looked wild. I think it was the PS2. It may have even been the Xbox 360 actually, but I think it was the PS2. Either way, it looked fantastic for that generation of console, whichever one it was that I played it on. I think it was PS2. Because I just feel like I remember watching, there's a scene in Mafia 2, right at the beginning. You've come back from war. You're like walking through the snowy streets, like carrying a suitcase, and you're walking home. And I remember playing that scene at the opening, like in the opening of the game, and just being blown away by how beautiful the game looked. Like, it looked like nothing else I'd ever played. Like, wild. And I think the original, like I've like I say, I'm playing through the remaster at the moment, and I've never played the original game. So playing this remaster feels like it's almost like a prequel. It almost behaves like a prequel because I've played Mafia 2 on an older console, and now I'm playing the remaster of this original game, and because it just visually looks so much better. But that's something I was considering playing. Yeah, that was something I was considering playing on stream because I've been neglecting it a little bit. I think that's because a lot of games have come out recently that I've been playing a lot more of. I got really back into FIFA again, which I don't usually play often, but now I'm sort of like, I don't know, there's something about, like, sometimes I just get sucked in. It's like, I have this with weird games, like, I get it with FIFA, I get, like, just absorbed, like, all it will take is, like, I'll play one game in a career mode, and then I'm hooked, but most of the time it doesn't happen. I play a game in career mode, and I'm like, and then I quit, I save, quit, and just don't play it for, like, another few weeks. But sometimes it just takes like one game and I'm like, oh, you know what, maybe I'll play another. And then I'm just like, I'm deep in it. I'm playing it for hours. I have that with FIFA, and I have it with Sims as well. In that, like, if I don't play Sims for a very long time, I completely forget about it, and it leaves my brain. Because I have Sims 4 on, I think it's on the Xbox One. And I think I got that. I got it during the pandemic, during lockdown. I got that, and I got like a bunch of expansions because I think I think the EA were doing a sale at the time that I was buying them, and then obviously the expansions are still quite expensive. They're like 32 quid, but they must have knocked them down like in a massive way, probably like 15 quid each or something for the expansion packs. So I got the base game, and then bought like a bunch of expansions, and I was like, oh, okay, this feels like a pretty, like, I've got a substantial amount now. Now I can kind of like, I've got all the time in the world during the pandemic. Because we were mid lockdown, and I'd been put on furlough, so my 9 to 5 just became playing video games, which was fantastic, but it was obviously the worst time because you couldn't do anything else. Like, it wasn't out of like luxury and choice that I had to do that. It was the only thing I had to do. Like, I'd been put on furlough, I wasn't working. Fortunately, I was still being paid like a percentage of my salary, so that was good. But it was, yeah, I spent all of my time during the day. I'd be getting up early. I kept a schedule, and the schedule was just to get up early, exercise, and then like jump on the Xbox. Right, what are we going to play? We're going to play this. Okay, cool. I think I started playing. I got back into Assassin's Creed during the pandemic. I hadn't played. I think the last one I played was Origins, and then I had no intention of getting Odyssey because the whole game world didn't really interest me, and the character and the story didn't really seem that fun. It wasn't sold to me at all. Like, I was like, oh, it's a fly. Yeah, I wasn't sold on the idea of that game. And like, Origins was really good, and they'd revolutionized the game, and they'd made it fun again. They made it feel like they'd revamped it in a way that made it feel like a challenge and fun again. And there was so much to do, and just like the game world was huge. But Odyssey just sort of felt like it's the exact same game, with a bit of, with a Greek skin on it. They just like skinned it to make it look like ancient Greece. And then it was just like, and then they were like, oh, we've made the map massive. And it was like, oh, so it's even bigger. There's more things to do. It was cluttered, and there was a lot. But it was during that first lockdown that I was so like, oh, I need to just find a game to play. And I tried Watch Dogs 2, and I didn't really get into that either. A few of my friends had played it, and they said they loved it. Like, Watch Dogs 2 was like their favorite game at the time, and then again, it's like a game where I'm going like, what am I missing? Like, what is it about this game that isn't ticking it for me, but it's ticking a box for everyone else? So I gave up on that. I still haven't actually finished it. I think I played the first mission, maybe not even completed the first mission. That is bad. Maybe Watch Dogs 2 is a future stream that I should try. And then I just thought, I saw Odyssey, and I think the gold edition or deluxe edition, maybe it was deluxe edition, was on sale for like a crazy price. I was like, I can get that for like 30 quid or something. It was like, it's like not like a new game at the time, but it was, newish and new enough, and it was an Assassin's Creed game, and I thought, do you know what? I haven't played Assassin's Creed in a while, and sometimes you get a taste for that sort of thing. I think Assassin's Creed's another one for me. Sometimes you just have to be in the right mood for it. And I really was. And I was like, I really want to play one, but I don't want to play Origins again. I've rinsed that game. So downloaded Odyssey, and then got hooked. I think I was so wrong when I started playing the game, because I realized I misjudged this. This is actually really entertaining and really fun. But then there was a moment, the moment I fell in love with that game, and I still have a really strong, positive memory with of that game and playing that game. And this is a spoiler, but it's an old game. I was exploring, and I think I'd done a few missions, and I was kind of getting to grips with the game again, and getting to grips with the controls, and felt comfortable. So I do that with story games like that, and especially quite massive games like the new versions of the Assassin's Creed series. I have this. I have to do I'll do the opening. Kind of feel like I've unlocked enough of, gotten through all the kind of hand holding missions where it teaches you how to play the game again. I got through all of those, and I thought, you know what, I just need to. I need to go around. My friend, a good friend of mine, Matt Bass, he would always say, in games like that, and especially Assassin's Creed games, he would just go around. The first thing he would do is go around and just unlock all the viewpoints, unlock basically just unlock the entire map. And then he was like, right, now I can play the game. And it's such a tedious thing to start doing for a game, but it is so satisfying. Going through the whole thing, it's really tedious and really boring, but you just do it. You push yourself, and you make sure you just unlock the entire map, and then boom, then you start the game. As soon as you will be so happy you did it. I was miserable doing it, going around Odyssey, because the map's so big. And just all right, I'll do a few missions, get myself out of the hand-holding situation, the hand-holding portion of the beginning of the game, and then I'll start. You have it's almost like a tutorial island that you're on. And I was like, okay, I'll get on that, and then as soon as I'm off that tutorial island, someone else is coming out. Oh, it's like a battle royale, so one person's eliminated and then someone else just takes their place. Oh. Okay, interesting. I didn't know that's how that worked in this game. Anyway, yeah. I got through I got off the intro island on Odyssey, and as soon as I'd done that, started exploring, and it was literally just I just need to go through and unlock all of the islands and unlock all the viewpoints just so I can get it done and out of the way. And then I came across this small island that was kind of tedious to get to. I thought, it's got a viewpoint on it. It's got something on it. I can't actually remember if it even had a viewpoint, but I was like, I'm just going to check it out. I think I was boating around, and I just went, there's a small island. I'll just go check this out. And it gives you no hint as to anything being on that island or anything of use. It was just there is an island here, you can pop in. So I went on, and then it triggered, this is the moment I fell in love with the game. It triggered a giant cyclops was hiding in this cave on this small island, and he bounds out of the cave, and then it immediately starts it's like a boss fight. I was like, oh fucking hell, I'm so unprepared. I have zero equipment that's of any use. I was I had a good grasp of the controls for the game, but I had no equipment that would do any good damage. But then I was because I was in it, and I had that moment of I was rewarded for exploring, which is one of the biggest selling points for me in any game. And I think this is what Jedi Survivor will have, is that I had a moment in that where I thought I could leave the island now and just run away, and that'll help me out. Or I stick it out. I just push yourself through the experience. The game has thrown you a curveball, go with it. So I did. I stuck out, and I went, right, fuck it, keep going. just like spamming the roll and like dodging the hell out of any attack they tried to hit, because I thought if he hits me with like one attack, I'm dead. So I just kept going and kept going and kept going. And I was like, I think that battle took about 40 minutes. It was maybe less. Maybe I'm being a bit dramatic. Maybe it was about 25 minutes. But it took an age to get done because I could do minimal damage. If he hit me like twice, I was dead. But I thought, no, keep going, keep going. I think I died a few times, but I was like, no, I'm going to do this. And ended up killing him. I think he dropped like some decent loot. So I ended up with like a fairly decent weapon or a fairly decent item like fairly early on. But then I was like, that was the moment. And I know Assassin's Creed games get a lot of stick, and deservedly so, for some of the kind of bland things they include. And just the maps are too big and they're not fun to play. And I totally get that. Because they just become tedious and boring, and you're just unlocking like there's just like giant maps that you just have to kind of like slog through, and there's nothing really of any like worth or interest in any of them. But that moment in particular, where I ended up on that island, was like so satisfying and rewarding, because all I was doing was just exploring. All I wanted to do was just go around and unlock all the viewpoints. But from doing that and having the idea of like, oh, like that's what Matt does, maybe I'll go around and just unlock all the viewpoints just to give myself a bit of a hand later on. But yeah, being rewarded for that exploring, and just like I think a game that rewards you for curiosity is the biggest winner for me. I hope Jedi Survivor is a bit like that. I hope there is elements of like exploring and being rewarded for that, because there's a good amount of that in Fallen Order, but Survivor almost feels like it's got a bit more of a vast scope to it. Like the map feels a bit more explorable. Like the levels on Fallen Order did have like really good moments of like you could explore, and you know, you could unlock things, and you could like get rewards and cosmetics and things from exploring and finding the chests. I hope the chests return. I hope there's a version of the chest. I know there is a version of the chests. It's in one of the trailers, I think. So I did see that. Yeah, I just really hope that it gives me that same feeling. I feel like I do struggle to find that with games as I get older. I struggle to have that bond or connection with games, and I think the reason Odyssey, the reason I latched onto Odyssey so much is, yes, that moment was great, but I think also the timing of it was pretty key. Like it was during a lockdown. I had nothing else really to do. I was living with my mum at the time, because I moved back to stay with her, so she wasn't lonely, but it was just so that she wasn't locked down on her own. So I left and went back to my mum's, and we lived together during the pandemic, and it was nice. And we were both thinking, we both had the mindset of like, she was still working, I was working initially, and then I was put on furlough while I was there. And we just both had the idea of like, right, let's keep to schedules. I think my mum was a bit nervous about me coming home, because me and her had never actually lived together, just us two. I have an older brother, and he'd lived with her separately without me. I'd lived here. I lived in this area and then lived somewhere else. But he'd lived with her, and we were just, I think there was a not a tension out of, oh God, like this is going to be horrible. It was a tension of, God, I'm just unsure about how, hopefully we get on. Like, we don't want to step on each other's toes. Like, we're going to be locked down. We can't go out. We can't really even go to supermarkets and things like that. So we can't go to the shops and be like, do our own separate things. We're locked down in a house together. And like, fortunately, my mum had had an extension done, so the house had a bit more room at the back. So we had like, the living space was very big, so we could kind of be in two separate rooms and still kind of do our own thing. That helped massively. But because I was moving back and working, we both had this kind of like, oh, it's fine. Like, I think for the first like few weeks I was still working, so I was just working 5 days a week from home. I would set up my little like office upstairs in what was my old bedroom. And then I was sleeping in my brother's bedroom. And it was like going really well, and we were like, okay, we've got like a routine now. We're like, we both work, at 5 o'clock we finish, and then what we would do is we would then regroup after work, and we'd have like a few beers together. Like the weather was just getting the weather was just getting really nice. So it was a really hot April, I think, if I remember correctly. So we spent a lot of time just in the garden. So we'd finish work and then be like, oh, there's still a few good few hours of sun left. Let's go into the garden and let's have a few beers together. That was lovely. Like, just like it got you through a work day because you kind of knew that's what. And then we got on like a house on fire. We had like a really nice time, but then there was the sort of a slight rise in the tension because I'd just been furloughed, and I think my mum was worried that I wouldn't have a routine. I'd just be kind of just hanging around the house and just kind of not really doing anything, like staying in bed or something. And I was like, no, like I used to do that as a teenager. I used to just kind of stay in bed for as long as I could, but nowadays as an adult, I find myself, I'm up at 6 or 7 a.m. like every day, and I really enjoy my mornings. My girlfriend adores mornings, and it's like it's her favorite time of the day, and I appreciate that more and more now being with her, that I enjoyed my day. One sec. I'm back. Just had a phone call, so I had to just hop off. I actually can't remember what I was talking about. Probably Odyssey. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, it was just I fell in love with that game. The pandemic helped. I don't think I would have had such an appreciation for that game if it wasn't for the lockdown, because it was my main thing. That's like the thing I did every day. Assassin's Creed Odyssey became my job, which is really funny because it was just like, I think me and a few friends were streaming for the BBC at the time, just playing like Human Fall Flat and stuff. We're just playing some multiplayer stuff. So I hadn't really thought about streaming at the time. But I thought, well, what can I do with my time? If I don't really fancy... I don't think I had the correct equipment. I had the equipment to record videos. I just didn't think I had the equipment to stream anything. I didn't have a good enough laptop at the time. And it was a plethora of other things. But I remember just thinking like, well, I need to fill my day with... I need to give myself a job and schedule it so that I get up early for it. I'm exercised and showered, and then I start my job. And yeah, Odyssey was fantastic for that because it was just a really lengthy story game. It had lots of detail, lots of exploration. It's an RPG, so there was lots of leveling, so you could kind of grind if you fancied it. And there would be some days where I would think, oh, do you know what can I do? What can I do with this? Like, what would be today's job? Oh, okay, I'm gonna do some more viewpoints at this point. I actually, because of me bumping into the giant Cyclops, I actually stopped my main mission of going around and unlocking all the viewpoints. So I think one of the days I was like, there's a motorcycle going down the road. I think one of the days I actually did stop. I stopped doing the viewpoints thing, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna play the game as I usually do. I think one of the days, one of my jobs was like, I'm gonna go to an island and just do all the viewpoints, and then I'm gonna try and do loads of like side missions on that island. So once all the viewpoints are unlocked, I'm gonna go through, and I'm just gonna like unlock as many as I can. Oh, Stan's been eliminated, but he's just like stood ringside. Oh, that motorcycle is so annoying. God, shut up. It's so loud. I know you probably can't hear it on the stream, but it's so loud. It always gets me. But yeah, I think to go back to my actual point about all this was I had a real affinity for certain games like that, and I think what I want these streams to do is to give me an association and give me a sort of almost bond with certain games that I didn't have initially. And I think maybe if I turn them into my job and make it like a thing of, oh no, I have to play that game, I'm playing it on a stream, I need to be consistent with streaming. I think maybe it'll help me get really into those sorts of games that I either missed or just it didn't really seem like it didn't interest me at the time. Oh. Cactus is left. I think Cactus might take this. He's probably fresher out of... I don't actually know who he's wrestling at the moment. Stan's got a chair. Where's Stan going? Oh, they're having a scrap. Are they scrapping ringside? Amazing. I don't know what the rules of this battle royale are. I thought they were eliminated, but apparently they've been pinned, I think, but they're just hanging out ringside now, just like scrapping with each other. But yeah, I think my next stream, I might do a continuation of The Last of Us, I think. I did a second stream with Skyrim, but I think it's something that I'm going to have to just give a bit of time and wait. Because I started playing Last of Us and I actually started really enjoying it. I was terrible at it. If you did watch that stream, it was awful. But I think that's what I'll do. I think it'll be Last of Us. I'll try and complete Last of Us on stream. If I can keep up with it. I think I'll try and complete that on stream. And then I think after that, maybe I'll try and continue Skyrim. I might do another one of these streams where I'm just kind of like hanging out, maybe watching a game or like playing a game like this is quite interesting. But the only reason I've boxed like this is because this is the native aspect ratio for this game. It's 4:3, so putting it in a little box with me next to it is great. But I think I'll do another one where I'm playing maybe a newer game. I think potentially some indie games. I think Hi-Fi Rush is something that I really wanted to play on Xbox because it was on Game Pass and it's just a wonderful game. But I don't know what that was. It was very strange. Was it a taunt that he did? I think Cactus is going to take it. Or, oh no, that's not Cactus's meter. Okay, I don't know who this is in the ring currently, but I think they might win now. If they hit their special on Cactus, I think it's over. Yeah, Cactus is getting pummeled. I think Stan Hansen's still ringside kicking the shit out of whoever got eliminated. I actually can't remember now. Where are they? I can't see them anywhere. Oh, maybe they have gone. Maybe Stan finally let him go and they left. But yeah, I think I'm going to do maybe another stream next week. I don't think I'll do another one this week. It's a bank holiday tomorrow, which is quite nice, but I think I'm just going to enjoy that. Without having to do any sort of like, I'm going to think about this more as a job, because I feel like that will actually help me do it more often. I feel like I know I started this stream talking about how like I really enjoyed this hobby, and it is a hobby, but I think if I start treating it like work, and not in a negative way, I think just sort of treating it like work, like I have a schedule for it, and obviously I haven't got a schedule listed anywhere for these streams, but just for me personally, I think maybe I should just come up with a schedule for myself and try and do one of these like once a week, hop on a stream when I've got good time. Like and also I used to stream quite a bit during the evenings, but the lighting was terrible, and also I'd have just finished work, so I'd be quite tired, and then I'd jump on a stream and it would just be kind of like, I don't know, I kind of wouldn't be feeling it. It's kind of why I set it up so I was sat on the sofa. I kind of wanted to set it up in that way so that I felt like I was kind of like relaxing and it was very chill. But now I've moved back to the desk and I'm realizing like the desk is the way to go. So I think it'll be from here again. I think it's much nicer doing it from here too, because I'm actually sat upright. The framing's better. Well, there we go. Cactus did lose. I had a feeling when the German suplex was going to hit in that game, it was game over. Cactus was done for. He put up a good fight though, bless him. I don't think I'm going to stream for much longer today. I just wanted to jump on for just an hour. Like I was joking earlier about how I needed YouTube to kind of tick over for me to remain monetized and it not kick me off due to inactivity. So yeah, let me see if I can. We're going to keep seeing replays if I don't do anything about it. Is it Ricky Choshu? I want to know who it is. Tawe. Oh, I don't know who that is. No. Sick. All right, it just ended. But yeah, that is all I've got time for today. But we'll be doing this again. I'm going to jump on a stream soon. I think I'll do my next one next week. And I think it'll be, don't take this as gospel, but it will be The Last of Us. Not Last of Us Part 2, but it'll be the Part 2 to a Last of Us stream that I did. Because I want to keep playing that game. That'll be next week.